Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Titan Immortal League. It feels so good to say that once again. I am Quex, back here on the cast, joined today by Shore Factor, covering in for Tokibi for week number 7 of the regular season, the last week and the do or die time for our two teams. How are you doing today, Factor?
I'm doing great, and I'm doing even better because this is a playoff implicated match here. I cannot wait to see these two teams duke it out, and I mean, with everything on the line, I think we could see anything happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've taken a look, or at least personally, me has taken a look at Stasis Gaming Resurgence. I believe we covered them in week number, I want to say week number 3 or 4. And this was one of the teams that, Toki and I talked about as being a huge favorite to get into playoffs and a huge favorite to maybe make a deep run once those playoffs came around the corner. Well, we've rounded the corner. It's playoffs time, like you said. And this team, they've got to prepare to sprint it because the one team standing in their way to the Moon Atlas, which, by the way, is one of the cooler names that I feel like I've casted here on the Titan Immortal League. But nonetheless, this team, although they are coming in with a 4-2 record, so slightly less impressive than Stasis Gaming Resurgence's 5-1 record, have proven to be a challenge for some of the top teams and are the only thing standing in the way of Stasis Gaming Resurgence and that playoffs that so many people predicted they make.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, that tiebreaker comes in if To the Moon wins this game, because at the
Yeah.
same record, they're going to have the head-to-head. We'll come into the ban phase here. I expect to see a Syndra. Most likely To the Moon will ban that away. Both of these mids have Syndra as a very, very highly played mid lane champion. But Ziggs and Yunara come onto the ban list, and those are some pretty common ones to see right now.
Yeah, I think at the moment, To the Moon's objective is to just take away a lot of these really strong B1 champions. So Yunara comes to mind. If they wanted to focus on maybe some bans toward Hasm, they could go for things like the Ambessa. I feel like that is still a very strong B1 pick. Orianna as well. They're going to take that one away. Has a lot of implications and synergy with those jungle picks. That's been a very popular strategy by a lot of these Immortal teams. As at least going to be the final ban here for SGR. And To the Moon, I feel like they're just focused on taking away a lot of these good B1s, and so they will take away the Ornn, which is a little bit surprising. Like you said, that Syndra left on open, so it's a question of, do SGR just want to, instantly snag that one up and possibly give Karma Warrior the opportunity to counterpick, or do they want to wait a little bit and try to throw something in a counter for themselves if that Syndra is picked on the other side? It does seem like both of these teams really are paying attention to making sure their mid laners have favorable matchups.
I gotta agree, but I almost psyched myself out there into thinking that we were just gonna see Yunara, Orianna, and Azir, which is what we saw through all of Worlds on the red side bans, as we'll see Lilia Ashe come through here. I also want to point out that Elise ban is not a jungle ban. That is an Elise support ban.
That's an Elise support ban, yes. Yeah, no.
It will be the Syndra here. Okay.
Yeah, so Syndra snagged up here by SGR has pretty good synergy with the Wukong. Wukong obviously, wanting for CC until he hits that Cyclone, and so Syndra is really good at setting up some of these more bruisery-esque junglers for having that pressure pre-level 6, which is not something Wukong is necessarily known for, but it can be something that Lilia is known for. And so I do think that To the Moon, drafting this Lilia away here for Hyper Dragon, I feel like they are going to be just focusing a lot on making sure that this pick has prio, has the safety it needs to get those items, and then can really get onto the map as a powerhouse.
Absolutely. I think that the Scion really reinforces that, right? It's got a lot of setup for a Wukong to come in and really just play his game in the early game, pre-6, building onto that that Cyclone, that level 6, which of course is just a game changer if you can hit it. We're going to see double ADC bans coming out from To the Moon here. They really want to pinch that pool, but
yeah,
I don't know how I feel about Senna in particular. It can be strong if Wukong gets really ahead, but I think usually you want a little more of a carry with such a tanky champion as a Scion.
And I do wonder what To The Moon are going to go here for support, because looking at their engage tools, it's a little bit awkward for them. I mean, you've obviously got the charge from Kled, and then you've got the Enchanted Crystal Arrow from Ashe, but these aren't like big team fight starter ultimates that you think of traditionally. Usually you'll think of something in that support role, things like a Realm Magnet Storm. Maybe even like if you wanted to pair it up with Kled, you could go like Lulu and then get the Bouncy House going with the ultimate. But I do think at the moment, To The Moon really need to be focusing on an engage support here, 4-5, and it seems like SGR have anticipated that. They're going Milio, anticipating a crowd control support is something that can really lay down and lock down some of those backliners. So I do think Milio is really good for the engage that is already present for To The Moon, and the engage that has yet to come, that being the Alistar. So Alistar Ashe, not a super traditional combo here, but is really good for getting that prio. I feel like that is the pattern that we're going to be seeing here for To The Moon's comp. You've got a bunch of scaling from mid, and you've got pushing lanes in both bot and top, and a lot of safety for this Lilia to just farm and then get onto the map as a powerful champion. Meanwhile, on the other side, though, I feel like SGR, their big focus is going to be, you know, getting that scaling online. You've got the Wukong, you've got the Syndra, you have to be paying attention to those item spikes, you have to be paying attention to those splinters. Once those breakpoints are hit, along with the Jinx, of course, this comp can really get going, and really is a three-pronged attack from all of the damage that they have loaded into this comp.
I think the thing I spy first and foremost is you've got a Syndra and you have a Jinx. If you can get that massive single target damage to burst down a champion and get that Jinx excited, she's got the front line to take care of everything. She's got an Enchanter by her side. She can easily take control of a team fight with just a single pick, which Syndra is more than capable of providing. On the other side, I got to agree with everything you were saying with this analysis. Something to call out is I think Ashe is going to have a really hard time here. She has the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but she doesn't really have a target for it outside of if you can catch Wukong, I guess, which is tough given the clone that he has. So
Right.
I think that this Ashe is going to have to focus a lot more on the utility of her slow over the utility of her arrow.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there are a lot of disengage tools here from the side of To The Moon, and Stasis Gaming, obviously their big focus is going to be blow up one target, get Jinx the resets, and, you know, kind of go from there. But, you know, we talk a little bit about engage tools, and we compliment how effective it is for To The Moon, but I feel like it's not that easy for Stasis Gaming, right? Because you do have the Cyclone and the ability to start up a fight there, but beyond that, you're probably just praying that Exodia hits a Scatter the Weak and you can find a target that can go down or gets hit by that, and then you immediately focus that, which is the idea when you have Jinx to get the passive going. But I do think that that could be a worry if Mags is not in a favorable position to get the fight started, or if he just blows up the moment he goes in.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the engage tools of Stasis aren't great, but they also don't have to be, right? Both of these team comps are not particularly pokey. Lilia has the Swirl Seed, Ashe has the Volley, but even with all of that, it still is just a little flimsy for poke. Both of these teams are going to want to fight a team fight, and that's why I think Stasis has such a dangerous comp, because they do that so well.
Right. It's a very, very standard front to back. I mean, you look at the top side, right, and Syndra obviously isn't the most relevant mid laner in the meta right now. Wasn't the most relevant mid laner at Worlds, certainly, but you know, it's still there. It's still pretty popular as A1
bit of a
Cake
fight
is
going on
it.
here in the top lane. Health bar's getting low. Awan Cake forces the flash out of Hazem, and these guys are getting scrappy early. Hazem still has the health lead, and with no remount, Awan Cake is going to have to walk away.
Yeah, I mean, Awan Cake, even though you have that flash, Kled loses movement speed when he actually runs away from you. So, Sion, he may be big, he may be a little bit fat, you know, getting some, he's definitely put on some weight, I feel, with how much he's been picked up here on Summoner's Rift over the past month and a half, but he should be able to catch up to that Kled. So I like that Awan Cake is respectful. It says, you know what, I am not going to chance it, I'm just going to run away and farm under my tower, which is not something you want to hear from someone like Kled, but
bad for Hyper
best you got.
Dragon.
Yeah, Hyper Dragon
Smites
does
it
get
away.
the crab.
Needs to get away from the Scion now. Charges up the smash. It hits. The Scatter the Weak lands. The clone's first blood to Wukong.
Yup, Wukong Mags getting that first blood, and honestly, really glad they gave him the kill over someone like Exodia, because Exodia, you do have the scaling element, you've got those splinters, and just the ability to really sync up with those items that make you a late game threat. Wukong, on the other hand, though, really wants that early gold, right? So he's going to pick up a Sheen, he's going to pick up a Longsword. This is going to make him a lot scarier in the dueling if he does, in fact, meet the Lilia at all after his second clear. So I like where SGR are allocating their gold, and overall, I like how proactive they were at chasing Hyper Dragon across the map, or recognizing that they have Prio on top and can easily punish that cross map.
I agree. I mean, you were talking about allocation of gold. I want to talk about allocation of vision. Both of these teams warded the enemy Raptors, but because it was a mirrored clear with Wukong starting on blue, instantly Stasis is aware of what Lilia is up to, and while you have that fantastic level 3 map hack from the Ashe, it just doesn't matter as much because you know where the enemy jungler is already, as opposed to a Hawkshot, which you can only guess.
Right, exactly. I suppose the one silver lining here for Hyper Dragon, as he is just going up toward, or on toward his bot side now, is that he still maintains that flash and also has the Faded Ashes, so it's still a good spike for Lilia to hit, and you know, has the ability to still be relevant in those skirmishes, but will be behind in items, at least efficiency-wise, compared to that Wukong. So does have to be very aware of where Mags is, and he's on the bot side, Lilia as well, so there could be possibility for a 3v3, and I feel like we should favor SGR if it does come to a fight.
That's about as clear of an announcement as it gets from Hyper Dragon, so they once again know where he is, but Wukong, Mags here, not in the same boat. Looks like it might be a lane gank they're trying to set up. If Leviathan gets too aggressive here, this could end real bad.
Yeah, but it's entirely banking on Leviathan going for a headbutt pulverize. Mags doesn't yet have level 6, so there really isn't an engage tool here from SGR on the bot side that can continue the chase. Not to mention Leviathan also has that phase rush and the flash plus heal available. So there are plenty of defensive tools available for the TTM bot lane. And so they aren't going to bite the bullet, they aren't going to take the bait, and it is just going to be Megs going toward that bot side crab. This should give him level 6 and officially the ability to start up some of those fights.
Yeah, Hyper Dragon on the top side here doesn't have any camps to clear. Could be looking for Hazem, but it just feels so bad to gank a Scion. Out comes the charge, my bad. And Hazem does have the Unstoppable Onslaught to his name. Can he get a position where he could use it? Oh no, he already did use it. That's just going to be a straight up kill over to Hyper Dragon. The Blooming Blows did so much work.
Yeah, A1 Cake blocked his path from getting away. Hyper Dragon was around the corner, and with no flash because it was used earlier to try and, get away from the earlier solo kill, it does mean that Hazem does go down. Also doesn't have the teleport, so A1 Cake pushes in this lane. I don't think Sion will miss too many resources, not that it matters for a tank like Sion, who is very low resource required, to be efficient, but still, it does put the Kled in a good position lane-wise, and also puts the Lilia back into relevancy for this game, getting that first kill for Hyper Dragon, and, making sure that the TTM carry that we talked about in the draft is in somewhat of a position to fight about 15 seconds before these grubs come up on the top side.
Absolutely. I would have loved to see Hyper Dragon stick around for just a little bit longer, get that notification that Wukong kills the dragon, take away a Gromp or even the wolves as well. Instead, he's going to back away and be content with a possible 3-buff rotation as these grubs spawn. So he's sitting on a lot of unspent gold here. Yeah, he'll start it up, and Lilia does have the AoE to make these go fast, but with the rotated bot lane, this is a really dangerous thing if they can't manage to pull off the kill quickly.
I mean, worst comes to worst, Hyper Dragon flashes over the pit, and A1 Cake can do the same. They won't actually have to do it, though, as they get saved by the bell. They will get the 2 grubs. They will give up the last one, but they get the credit for the objective. This is really good to take away from SGR because they did get the dragon, so making sure that they don't get both of the first 2 objectives, really crucial when you're playing the long game for some of these champions like Lilia and Asol, who inevitably scale up to become monsters.
Absolutely, and we're going to see a bit of a classic lane swap. We saw Alistar go topside while Ashe stayed bot here, but I think the big thing here is as they switch back, I would have loved to see just the fight against the Kled. He can be so dangerous, but I think it's a fight worth taking. I don't think Kled would have done enough to compensate for the range discrepancy. I would have loved to see them try and punish him a little bit harder.
Yeah, I do think that Kled at the moment is, you know, this is a champion that is seldom picked in pro play for a reason, right? And one of the big reasons is it doesn't really have much team fight agency. It really is just a lane bully, right? And so even though A1K got that assist from earlier, you know, burned Hasm's flash, we haven't really seen a ton of capitalization off of this champion be strong in the early phases. So I do think
Looks
it's
like Stasis Gaming wants to set up a dive.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not going to happen. Numbers are equal, but very proactive from them. And Harryaugi got the recall canceled by the Super Mega Death Rocket. Is going to walk away on low health, but doing just fine.
Yeah, so nothing going to come of that bot side play. A1 Cake on the top side going to TP back. Dragon not up for another 2 minutes, but you can already see that SGR are trying to wrestle priority and vision around this bot side river to make sure that, you know, they are the ones first to the objective, as Hasm is taking a lot of damage. Those violent tendencies tend to hurt.
They do, although this is a Scion, so I think he'll walk away just fine, barring something going wrong, as in goes the charge, but I just don't think that was
He's
very worth
dismounted.
it. He is, and Cyclone is available for Mags, who's up here on the top side. Flashes as well.
Right.
Here comes the Unstoppable Onslaught, and it's immediately going to be the Decimating Smash into the Cyclone, and that's going to be a kill right away. Hyper Dragon in the area might want to look to make something happen, but the Lilting Lullaby is not going to save you here. It's going to be the Conqueror
use it
fully stacked with the
defensively.
flash, and now the Lilting Lullaby will save Hyper Dragon's life.
I love that bloodthirsty attitude there from Mags. Man immediately gets level 6 and decides to go for a proactive play. I mean, Hasm as well, stalling out the Kled, but Mags blocking with his clone so that the Dream Dust doesn't hit him from the Swirl Seed. And then he's able to get the CC off on the Cyclone so that A1 Cake can't fill up his courage meter. It's just beautifully played there from the SGR jungler. And now he's able to reset. He gets his Triforce. And this is when Wukong really starts to be a threat on the map. First item, level 6. This is his timer to really make stuff happen and to push his advantage here in game 1.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I think Wukong might have been strong enough in that last fight to sit under the tower as the Lilting Lullaby put him to sleep. He might have actually gotten out, given his passive and everything, but, you know, I can totally understand playing it a little bit safe there. Hyper Dragon only was one auto away from dying as it was, as more fighting in the top side. This time it looks a lot better for a Wand Cake, but, again, Scion.
I mean, honestly, like, this is still fine for Hasm. You dismount him, you walk away, and Kled significantly loses, especially without Flash, his ability to actually kill you. You're fine just, you know, farming under this tower. Scion, like we said, is a incredibly low economy top laner. Doesn't need a lot of resources to be relevant in the team fight, in the late game, and to make this front to back comp work. Meanwhile, Kled, like we talked about, really needs this stuff, right? Because he struggles to find relevancy outside of the laning phase. His team fighting just isn't on the same level as something like a Scion. So A1 Cake is just continuing to look for any kind of trades possible. Now, though, I do want to pay our attention toward the bot side. Mags has made himself known. Hyper Dragon is also in the area. Dragon is up, and I mean, you can see that Exodia is in mid lane. He has Prio, so automatically that means
TP come down from Karma Warrior. They're all in on this. As
all right, we're fighting everywhere.
The Dragon is also coming up, and we're gonna have to pay attention to 2 fights here. Hasm goes lower and lower, but a Wand Cake is gonna get demounted. In goes the headbutt pulverized onto Mags, and that's the real one. Alistar thought he used the ultimate, but did not. Down comes the Starfall. It's a shutdown on the Mags. It's Harryaugi doing so much damage, and with the jungler down, that signals the Dragon for to the moon.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Mags was maybe just a little too disrespectful. He was maybe looking for some excuse to Cyclone in, but both Bobby and Marcotte were just zoned away from the fight. They really had no ability to join on up. I feel like if they are, you know, first to get past that tri-bush, and then join up with their jungler, maybe things could have gone differently, but what results is Mags going down, Dragon falling to TTM, and a little bit more gold into Hyper Dragon, who is now 2-1. Got his first item around the same timer as the Wukong. But like we said, this is a champion that really values that level, that 2-item spike. And so Hyper Dragon is getting closer and closer to that. This Lilia is on pace to be the carry we talked about in the draft.
Absolutely, although as we go back to the fight here, I think you were right on the money. It looks like the Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits Exodia, and that's why Mags is going to stay in the front for so long. I thought
but then this is unnecessary, and he gets hit and just gets slept, immediately gets put to sleep, literally, and then it's just, there's really no way for the rest of SGR to fight. So even though you do a lot of damage as Wukong, you aren't yet tanky enough to withstand all of that damage, and it seems neither is this tower, as SGR are just going to get the first of the game, and Leviathan's overstaying.
Yeah, I think he's just dead. That's going to be the Feats of Warfare, and that is going to be the upgraded boots straight up over to the side of Stasis Gaming. I think your entire analysis of that dragon fight was really good, because in the first go-around, after I finished casting, you talked about the fact that the bot lane wasn't there. I think that was why Mags hesitates in that moment and doesn't just go in with the Cyclone.
And you can see
A1 Cake might take the tower in the face of Mags here, and Mags might be in a little bit of trouble as the dismount comes out, but Hyper Dragon's in the area, and as Kled remounts, Kled doesn't remount, Mags gets the kill.
Yeah, that's a 1-for-1, honestly. I still feel like that's worth it for To The Moon, because they do get the tower on top of the kill, but it is still unexpected, honestly. I thought he was for sure going to remount. Megs, though, finds the damage, finds the ability to make that trade worth it somewhat. And we can see SGR have now rotated and are paying a lot more attention to this top side with Herald up as Exodia gets hit.
Exodia's gotten hit, and that is going to be all she wrote. Karma Warrior takes that kill.
Yup, beautiful ultimate there from Augustus.
Howard Sky's Descend here available if Bobby decides to step forward and try and fight, but I don't think it's meant to be. They'll turn their attention to the Herald.
Yep, they're going to go on to the Herald, and despite getting control over that mid lane after the 1-for-1, it is To The Moon regaining control over that top side, so they will get the Herald. And I imagine they're probably going to try and save this until the Dragon comes up in, about 2 minutes so that they can secure that second one, pull pressure away from the bot side river, as A1 Cake possibly going to get jumped on, though, has flash and ult.
Yeah, goes ahead and uses the flash to dodge the unstoppable onslaught. Mags shows himself. There are many, many people in the area right now, so if Hyper Dragon goes crazy, it could end badly, but they are playing it as defensively as they should.
Right, and I do like that Hyper Dragon shows some restraint there, understands that, hey, we don't really have control over that bot side. We don't have any vision as well, so there could just be, multiple SGR members lurking in the darkness, and indeed, that is what happened. So, wise choice there from Lilia not to pursue those kills further now, as we have entered a little bit of a lull state. You can see that SGR with that prio on the bot side, as well as Bobby pushing in this wave on mid. They are just continuing to hold vision control over the Dragon Pit, and Dragon up in about a minute does mean that they should have a decent counter to this Herald. TTM, if they don't have the waves in their control, then this Herald loses a lot of its value to pull SGR away from the river that they have set up on.
Absolutely, and I think that the smartest thing you can do here is just set the Herald to go with, I guess, Ashe, or maybe Asol, and then contest the Dragon. That way you can have them come in with a little bit more long-range ability to impact the fight. It is definitely possible. They get the mid-outer, Stasis does, on their second go. Obviously the first time got Exodia killed, but that is a big, big point of control over to the side of Stasis there. So they're doing exactly what they need to do.
And going into this Dragon fight in about 20 seconds, you can see that Karma Warrior has the Sky's Descent. So the big boy Asol ultimate is available for TTM to use. That is a very, very strong team fighting tool. I don't feel like anyone underestimates his importance, and SGR probably know that better than anyone. So they do have to be careful with how they approach this fight. They are doing it on two fronts. Notably, Hasm is cut off from the rest of the team, though.
Yeah, I think that might just be the intention of the Kled. In goes the Herald
Right,
charge, and
here
they
we
might
go.
use that to knock up the Wukong. And the skies are going to descend, and as the Unstoppable Onslaught comes down and the Cyclone goes out, it is going to be a fight in the choke. Leviathan is going to go ahead and
They need a
pop the
reset.
Unbreakable Will,
Resets.
but Alon Cake is the first one down, and Jinx now has the resets. That's going to be 2 stacks of getting excited. Out comes the Breath of Life, and it is going to be Henry Augie who is going down. Or Harry Augie, my bad. Hyper Dragon does what he can, but even with the Lilting Lullaby, it's not enough. A fantastic fight angle leads to a fantastic fight result.
It's a 4 for 0 for SGR. You can see that Karma Warrior is going to maybe try and do something, but Bobby is way too healthy for this A-Soul to actually enter into this pit to deal with some of those lower HP targets. So they are going to secure the dragon, and that will be the feat officially claimed for them. As we're going to get a little bit of a replay here. This is what we talked about in the draft here, was that we said if you can isolate a member of this team, if you can give Jinx the reset, if you can find an angle to single out a member, that is where your comp really shines. And here we see it. We can see that A1 Cake gets dismounted, is ripe for the picking, and then it all goes down. It's a kill over to Megs. They are able to pursue. And not only was it a really good turnaround here by Bobby and the rest of Stasis Gaming, but the way they handled the initial engage from To The Moon, despite having the Skies Descend and the charge, was just beautiful. Meg soaked up so much pressure and dished out twice as much in return.
Well, I gotta say, as inspired as I think the Herald charge engage was from Hyper Dragon, he was so far out of the fight for a lot of it. When that headbutt pulverized from Leviathan hit, I was like, this is insane. We're gonna get a Lilting Lullaby, and it's gonna be an instant team wipe. But Hyper Dragon wasn't there. They couldn't do that. So, you know, I points for creativity, but I think on the next one, the team is gonna say, let's just keep the Lilio around.
And the next one is probably going to be going around this Otacon. You can see it has spawned on the top side. A1 Cake wants to try and push in this wave, but you can see he's a little bit hesitant because there isn't a lot of vision for To The Moon here on this top side. So it doesn't want to get jumped, especially without that flash, which is you know, going to come off of cooldown soon enough. Should have it for the upcoming Otacon fight, because there's always an Otacon fight. We always got to fight around this, right?
I love this objective. Nobody knows what to do with it.
God, I hate this objective.
It's so much fun to watch.
This objective is just it's oh man, it's Comedy Central. It has been all year, because I don't think any team has figured out how to actually play around this objective. I don't think anyone really knows how to play around this objective when setting up and fighting for it.
I've seen Gen G do some stuff that they really should not have been able to do around Otacon, but aside from that, I gotta agree with you. I saw a fantastic comment the other day that said that we don't see teams int over Baron anymore because there's a different 20-minute objective to int over.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there is. And I mean, it's in a way more precarious spot on the map, right? There's so many entrances to Otacon, and you have to overcommit to staying in this one location, which SGR are doing, and they have to be careful about that. I mean, if Lilia finds an angle to get a multi-man sleep, that just invites the rest of the To The Moon members to get involved in the fight. So SGR have to be very careful.
If, though, as we're going to see, Scatter the Weak not quite hit, Lilia's still missing Flash from that Dragon fight. Did go ahead and use that, so her engage options are a lot more limited here. Hasm is going to be just fine, regardless of if pretty much anything happens to him. We are going to see both teams start to back away from this. Bobby going back to the mid-wave here, as it was pushed out by, I believe, Karma Warrior. And that's going to signal a collapse onto the Otacon, and it's going to be started up by To The Moon.
All right, I don't like this from To The Moon. You can see that Leviathan is already half HP. Hyper Dragon still doesn't have that flash. You can't actually start up this objective as TTM. You have to be the ones walking into this pit, which is a little bit difficult, right? Because we saw them attempt to do this last time, as Hasm is just maybe walking up too far.
Headbutt Bulb going in, and they're committing everything onto the Scion, and they're going to back out, or at least Scion is, as a teleport comes down from a Wand Cake. With a low-health Scion, this looks a lot different.
Yeah, it does. I mean, he has teleport, so you should be able to get back to the fight.
And they're flash.
There are plenty of places for him to TP, though. I do think that they have to pull the trigger fast if they want to interrupt this Otacon, though. Okay, it's about 6K.
Oh, this is a disaster. This is a disaster. They're going to
All right, here we
go.
go.
In goes the charge, and it's going to be a full-on team fight around this Otacon. That is a massive scatter of the week onto the two frontliners, and it's going to be the Cyclone going in. Immediately, we're going to see Leviathan dropping as the skies descend, or rather as the star falls. It is just a disaster fight. Exodia kills Harryauge. Karma Warrior, you have to be the hero. Hyper Dragon has to find some sort of steal. He's got the smite, but they're going to target the jungler instead. It's going to be a full-on collapse, and as they get lower and lower, if Bobby gets a rocket into Hyper Dragon, I don't think it ends well. Karma Warrior is going to go down with a fantastic decimating smash. It is 4 for 1?
Yes. 4 for 1, but I mean, notably the jungler is the one here for SGR that goes down. Honestly, like we said, TTM struggle a little bit to find these engages as we do go to the replay. So we do see the teleport come through. I don't know why they kept that control ward alive, by the way. I thought he was going to TP to that, but he finds a better angle. He's into the pit, and then look at this. A1 Cake says we have to go in, we have to throw down, and he immediately goes for the charge, gets hit by the Flame Chomper, so doesn't have his dash. He dashed into those, and then is forced to flash away. Megs follows up, but it doesn't matter. Leviathan was committed to the bit. He was committed with his Kled, but his Kled bailed on him. I am so sorry, sir. You will be seeing this movie alone, as it is absolute cinema here in game number 1. Hyper Dragon gets hit, has to flash away, and overall it just felt like a very split decision here from TTM. As we do go back to live, there is a huge fight actually.
There absolutely is, and they're going in. We're seeing spells left and right, and it's going to be the unstoppable onslaught. And Hazem, I don't even know what he just did. I think he got headbutted onto the AD carry of To The Moon. A1 Cake is going to die. It's a double kill for the Jinx. It's a lilting lullaby going down, but there's nothing to do about it. And I think either Harryauge is going to have to make a miracle happen, or this dragon is going to go the way of Stasis Gaming.
Right, Stasis should be able to get this unless Karma Warrior can pull something down at the...
Harryauge was not able to do it, but Karma Warrior, the skies descend and is able to steal the dragon away, and that almost makes this all worth it.
Honestly, it does. You denied the sole point, and I mean... maybe SGR could turn it around. Otacon wasn't actually taken on the top side after that fight, so if they can get the Otacon, then maybe it's worth it. But Hyper Dragon's coming up in about 10 seconds, so I don't actually think you can get this this trade. That's absolutely huge for TTM. They do lose the fight, but they deny the sole point, as we are going to get a quick little peek at how this play out.
I see.
Right, so I think Mags, the big problem is that Wukong, even though he's the primary engage, he's just not tanky enough, right? He goes down in the fights, even when his team wins. Usually it's the objective that they're trying to get as a reward, and they don't have that, you know, guaranteed smite because they lost their jungler at the start of every exchange. But other than that, I mean, this fight goes well. Bobby gets a double kill, and, you know, all seems right. A stray scat of the week is going to hit... Hyper Dragon. The ultimate is there from Exodia, who now actually has 100 splinters, and then this.
Funny.
It was killed, I believe, by the burn.
I think it was killed by the E-burn. I don't even think it was executed. Yeah. Obviously, Karma Warrior goes down there. And back to live, it looks like we're setting up around the top side, because that's Otacon and Baron. I think the biggest delta in that fight, aside from the fact that Mags died really early on, was the fact that at no point was Ashe able to be hitting almost anything. Yeah. Jinx, Bobby, we saw, was hitting everything, as it is now known that this Otacon is happening, but Kled is on the other side of the map, is going to have to TP in. I don't see a Hyper Dragon anywhere near this. That is a dead Otacon.
Moly. And I think that's a dead cow, as Exodia is going to go godlike. This is a 7-1-8 death cap acquired Syndra, who has the 100+ splinters, so the execute is there as well. There's just so much damage on the side of SGR. You've got to worry about the Wukong, you've got to worry about the Syndra, and you've got to worry about the Jinx. There are too many carries on this side. Even when you get the objective, winning the fights has been a different story entirely this game.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. It really has just been... It looks good on paper, as down goes Exodia, shut down by Hyper Dragon with the solo ult. A one cake is going to look for the objectives. I mean, objectives win the game, but the objectives are falling in favor of Stasis Gaming right now.
Yeah, I mean, A1 Cake is going to probably be able to crack open the base because he does have the Hull Breaker, but Hasm is here to run interference. And honestly, I feel like this is where Sion has full permission to be annoying. Just chase this Kled back while your team is pushing in the mid lane. Yeah, look at, he's going on a wild goose chase toward the Kled. He's not letting him back away.
I mean, it's the smart thing to do, and it's going to be a teleport forced out here. A one cake uses that to get himself on away, but immediately Stasis Gaming backs away. They say, we've got everything we need, and we'll take your jungle on the way out.
Yeah, I mean, they got the inhibitor. What more do you want? Meanwhile, TTM, they only break the base. They don't get the inhibitor to trade as we are going to go back. So, okay, so the Otacon is complete. Leviathan just dies, right? This guy just goes down. And then the immediate pivot is going to be onto the Baron. You have numbers advantage. You know, let them watch, right? This is the ultimate disrespect where they can just see the Baron get whittled down. But then I'm really curious about this. I actually don't know how Hyper Dragon got the jump onto Exodia, but he does get the shutdown. It's another kill over, and ultimately, yeah, I feel like I stand by what I said. Even when TTM get the objectives, even when they find miracles in the neutral department, they have really not been able to find a fight win for the past 10 or so minutes, and that is what is dictating the current course of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just seeing towers fall left and right because, I mean, rightfully so, they're putting damage into Sion as that's going to be a full engaged charge and Cyclone will come out. It's a massive scatter of the week, and that is going to be a Hyper Dragon that falls to the might of Syndra. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Mags is going to fall to Harryauge, but in a 3v4, I don't love your odds against this Jinx. It's going to be a flash over the wall by Harryauge, and he's going to barely not kill Exodia. The warm hugs keep that Syndra alive.
Yeah, Syndra is still kicking on a little bit of HP, will reset, but has the teleport to be able to join up with the team. It is just Mags down. It is a 3-4-1, and the two remaining TTM members, I don't think they can defend this.
It's a grievous-looking situation for To The Moon as Stasis Gaming looks to put them into a stasis of their own. They are going to close this game out eventually.
Eventually. Pad the stats, of course, you know, as is tradition.
There it goes.
There it goes.
That is going to be game one going over to Stasis, and it was convincing.
Yeah, definitely a convincing game and more affirmation that Stasis Gaming Resurgence deserve to be in the playoffs. They draft a front-to-back comp, they play front-to-back the entire time, and they play to their strengths, and every member putting on a performance in this game factor.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I think adaptation might be give Mags a champion that has a little less all-in, so you have a smite in future rounds, or I guess you could just take Unsealed Spellbook. As we see, yeah, this final fight was just so well played, both by Exodia and especially by Marcotte, who keeps Exodia alive through all of this.
Yeah, I mean, poor Mags on the other side, though, just gets slowed to death, and I mean, ultimately, Harryauge had to make a choice, right? Ooh. Either get hit in the face by a train, both literally and metaphorically, for the case of Hasm, or flash over and try to trade 1-for-1. I feel like he knows he's dead either way, but is going to try and go down swinging. Unfortunately, it's a swing and a miss, and not only for him, but his entire team, as once again, SGR, they do get the drop off here in game number 1, and will go up 1-0 in the series factor. One more win, and they will be the final team to get into the playoffs.
And they would do it in a dominating fashion. They're sitting at number 1 right now. All they have to do is one more win, and they lock that spot.
Yep, for sure. So, really good stuff from both of the teams, but ultimately Stasis Gaming Resurgence showing why they have the ability to make it this far into the Immortal League and why they are one of the best teams in the Immortal League, dare I say. But before we get into game number 2, we are going to take a small little break as we wait for the teams to congregate, get some fresh air, maybe touch some grass or snow. You know, it's getting toward that time of the year factor. But nonetheless, we're going to let all the teams do that, and we will take a small little break. So we'll see you guys for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Titan Immortal League game number 2 between To The Moon Atlas and Stasis Gaming Resurgence here in week number 7. Once again, I am Quax, joined by Shore Factor, and it was a pretty dominating, pretty convincing win, Factor, in game number 1. How do you think To The Moon Atlas need to respond in game number 2 in order to take us to a third game?
I think you've got a Kane jungler that's nearly a one-trick. Put him on the champion. Pick it later. It never got banned. If it gets banned in phase 2, then that's rough. But I think this is a great time to be looking at a pocket pick that your jungler is very familiar with to try and push your game further forward.
And your backs are against the wall, right? Like, this is a do or die series, so you might as well go comfort. You might as well go for champions that you know how to play. I definitely agree with that philosophy, Factor, going into game number 2 here for To The Moon. And honestly, wouldn't hate if that same mentality was echoed by SGR. You know, when you are one step away from the finish line, it's best to pull out your best when the stakes are the highest. So I absolutely wouldn't hate if either of these teams went for a little bit more of an unorthodox draft here for the second game. I might hate my job as a color caster, you know, the guy that's supposed to predict what they're going to pick, but it makes it more fun, right? Fearless already challenged us enough. Throw some more curveballs at us.
Yeah, I love to see him. We await the first pick, and it's going to be the Yunara, which was left open, a little surprisingly, I might say. We did see that prioritized by To The Moon, but looks like it falls through the ban list for Stasis Gaming here and is going to be immediately snatched up.
And we saw Hariaki be really active on the Ashe whenever he actually could be relevant in the fights, which, as we mentioned in the game, wasn't all the time. He had a lot of trouble actually being able to lay down the DPS because of how into his face the SGR members were. I think Yunara gives him a little bit more opportunity to flex his muscles, to get those mechanics out the window, and to actually have a little bit more power in the bot lane here by locking this Yunara, though that in the face point that we made of game number 1 is going to be echoed again here for game number 2, as Kai'Sa and Jax are going to be the move here for Stasis Gaming. Very engage heavy, and I feel like the remaining picks are going to focus on joining up those snap engage tools.
Yeah, it's going to be the Cassante to answer, and they're going to pair the Yunara with the Rakan. These are some strong picks right out the gate. Kai'Sa Nautilus especially a strong pick.
Kai'Sa Nat. All right, it's named after the streamer, as yeah, we are going to be seeing that in the bot lane here for Stasis Gaming. I feel like To The Moon have it pretty right here with what they've picked already. Rakan is not only a good engage tool, a good fight starter, but also a good fight ender, right? You can use that ultimate, you could use the knockup, you can use your slipperiness to disengage some of these fights, and then Cassante obviously having the all-out means that he can eject a champion from the fight by himself. So there are plenty of disengage tools here by To The Moon to counter the engage here that has been drafted up here from SGR. Now I think the big thing for SGR is just trying to get a favorable mid matchup. I do think they'll probably go for a jungler here on 4, unless they want to you know, hide that this Jax might be in the jungle. They will go for the Vice. So further engage, yeah, just trying to get a favorable mid matchup for you.
I don't see why you don't slam Kayn here. There is nothing to threaten
I
you
do think
as
Kayn has
here.
an angle, yes.
There it is.
There we go.
We see it. Now, this is Hyper Dragon's most played champion by far. Seeing this in Game 2 is going to be big for them because this is absolute maximum comfort, and this draft looks great for it. And it's going to be the Victor to pair in the mid lane. This comp looks incredibly strong.
Victor does look strong, but I do worry about this champion a lot at this level for over pushing. And I do think that if SGR can go for something in the mid lane that can, you know, match it in range, the Hui going to be the lock-in. So certainly can do that, but also has a little bit more utility, right? Is a lot more relevant, I think, in the team fights as well. So you were talking about the TTM comp being really strong. And while I do think that their late game is really relevant with you having the Yunara 3 items, the Victor 3 items, and then inevitably the Kayn transformation, SGR, it feels like we are taking a page out of game number 1 and just slapping it onto game number 2. You've got the front to back, you've got a very, you know, team fight style comp, you're playing to your comfort, and we saw what happened in game number 1 when SGR had a comp like this, right? They absolutely crushed. So TTM, the unorthodox draft is cool, but unless I see, you know, some really big plays with this Kayn and, you know, maybe some conjunction here by Leviathan and Hyper Dragon to make plays happen early and get that transformation going as soon as possible, I do think SGR are going to just be the stronger team in these 5v5s because of what they have drafted.
I agree, but I think one of the things that looks really different between Game 1 and Game 2 for Stasis Gaming here is going to be the fact that their tankiness is a lot more spread out. In Game number 1, Wukong has tankiness, sure, roughly equivalent to Vise, but we're going to see an engaged support that's sporting a lot of the tankiness, because while Jax does have it, he's really looking to do damage more than anything else.
And he's looking to side lane more than anything else. You don't want Jax to be a big team fight menace. This is a 4-1 comp, right? This is where you want Jax in top or bot, whatever side lane that is relevant to the current objective these teams are focusing on, get prio and then join up with the team through there, or make cross map plays with that, which is why I think grubs are going to be a really important factor here for SGR going into game number 2. You put grubs on a Jax and that side lane pressure significantly increases.
Oh, for sure. I also just think that Kai'Sa functions very different unless you go AP immediately.
Mm,
It's a lot shorter range. You've got to be a lot more particular. And against a Yunara, which is like the spacing champion, it can be a
yeah.
little tough, especially in the 2v2, to really lock that Yunara down and make sure that you're getting the fight you want rather the fight that she wants.
Are one of the most banned champions for a reason, and I do think that the peel is acceptable here for TTM when it comes to the Yunara, right? We talked about the Cassante being able to eject a player out of the fight, one of those engage tools from SGR, just completely out of the fight right from the get-go, and then Rakan, with all his crowd control and all his slipperiness, being able to peel for the Yunara as well. But one of those is probably going to have to deal with the Jax if he does get ahead, and so I'm really looking at this Hasm pick in this matchup to be the focal point of the early game. Sure, you've got the setup in bot lane, and sure, you've got the damage in bot lane as well, and the
Hook
level
lands,
2.
and that's going to be a lot of damage down onto Harryauge immediately. It is going to be barrier and heal traded for that singular ignite. We're going to see Harryauge forced to recall as well. I was going to comment on the fact that it's the glacial augment on Leviathan here, which is much more of a peel-focused thing. You know, Guardian gives some amount of support to your ally, but Rakan likes to run it to give himself a lot more durability. So this is definitely more focused on keeping that Yunara alive.
Not only that, but it also gives you a good amount of setup for a relatively immobile bot side on the side of SGR, right? That slow can actually do a lot in trying to catch out some of these targets who don't have the luxury of a dash or a blink or any really big tool to escape. The best you have is Marcotte being able to spiderweb to the walls and the upgraded Kaisa E that gives you the invisibility. But that is still a long ways from being completed. As we can see, both junglers finishing up their clear on the bot side. I do wonder if we'll see a confrontation at the crab. I would imagine not.
Ooh, we're going to see a push under tower, and is his
Wow!
dead? He is. That's going to be the flash by a wand cake to make sure that it goes through. I was just about to say, this Cassante pick is a bit of a question mark for me, because historically, Jax is one of the better counters to it.
Yeah.
And it was picked into the Jax, but if a wand cake keeps making plays like that, I think you say pick the Cassante every time.
It's especially rough pre-6, right? Before you have the all-out, Hasm really has control of the lane, but now that you have the chain vest, you have the extra little bit of armor, it's going to be harder for, you know, Jax to kind of bully you around in the laning phase as long as you play it respectfully. So this just means a wand cake is going to be harder to punish. This Jax isn't going to be able to get that gold that we said he needed to be a
Sneaky
threat
play
later in
here
the game.
by Marcotte. The flash forward, it's going to be the root immediately coming out. It's going to be the dredge line out onto Leviathan, but he is going to battle dance himself away. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Azem is getting brutalized. That might be another solo kill.
No, he will be okay for now. A wand cake... Oh, you can see it. He wants to go for this. He wants to go for this.
He absolutely wants to go for it, and he gets it, and he's just going to lock down the kill, because you don't really need to auto-attack the Jax if you can just use a Pathmaker.
Yeah, I mean, Hasm... Little bit of a question mark there. I feel like you have your jungler. If you can bait the Cassante to over-chase you under the tower, then I think you set yourself up for, at worst, a 1-for-1, and, you know, at best, maybe a failed tower dive by the Cassante, but still, it ends up being another kill to the Cassante. Now he'll be able to reset, get some more of that armor, and this Jax is really struggling. This makes it a lot harder for SGR to gain control of the top side, to secure those grubs that we said were super important for the implications toward this late game, and now just getting the Jax back into the game via plates.
Yeah, absolutely, and you talked about picking up those resists. Cassante is reaching that break point where he's going to have that really fast cast speed on those Ntofo strikes, and so, you know, we're seeing the dragon come down. Neither top laner is going to have TP to influence this. In fact, neither mid is either, though they can walk a lot easier. We'll have to see if either team wants to start it up early. I really like the push that we're seeing from Stasis Gaming. I really like that we're not seeing them backing down, but at the same time, that can bite both ways easy. And Hyperdragon's on a ward, but he is also in the area. Meanwhile, all out in the top lane, Azem dangerously low again, able to jump away, but the all out's not done. We could see an altercation, a 3v3 as the hook is going to land, but it's onto Leviathan, who's going to go in with a grand entrance, and now it's going to be Harryagi, who I think has already, no, is level 5, but is just doing so much damage. The last
Bobby!
Awakening, and the barrier is going to make that flash not matter, but the dragon is to the moons for the taking.
And To the Moon should be able to get this objective. It looks like Hyper Dragon is actually going to go for a reset instead. Not going to pull the trigger on that objective. He's probably getting somewhat close to form. He hasn't actually had a ton of action.
Just pull off. I feel like that was such a good timing to go for Dragon.
Yeah, I think it might have been, but wanting to go toward that top side instead, catch some of those. Maybe he wanted level 6. I can understand that because now Mags has his level 6, and this is where Vi can really get going, as we see in the mid lane.
Yeah, we're about to see it, and that's going to be an immediate kill going down. Cease and desist. And it's going to be Mags again that picks up the first kill for his team. I think this time you probably want it to go over to Exodia, but what can you do?
Yeah, you'll take what you can get. And Hasm might be getting got yet again.
Yeah, that's the flash out. I definitely think that's good. Keep a wand cake really far in the lead, but as we see Hyper Dragon moving around the map, I think the key thing to point out here is that it really has been a quiet game for him so far. Does have the level 6 now, but Exodia hits the crushing maw, and it's just nothing to do at that point. Just goes down.
Yeah, maintains
Meanwhile,
the
bot lane, there's a 2v2 going on. Bobby is so dangerously low. Used the Killer Instinct and the flash on that play. The heal was burned by Leviathan, but that's a trade you'll take 10 times out of 10.
Hyper Dragon's on the top side. He'll be able to secure the grubs. I mean, there's no ultimate. There's no flash from Megs, and you could see that Hasm's conditions just aren't there to be able to fight, especially not with a wand cake being so healthy at the current moment, right? Hazalt is about to have flash, so they're forced to give up an objective that we said was really crucial for them to secure here in this game to allow Hasm to be a viable side lane threat. It feels like that possibility is becoming less and less likely with every passing minute because a wand cake has just had a vice iron grip around this matchup so far, and it's only getting worse as this Cassante gets tankier and tankier, and a wand cake continues to put on that pressure. It feels like SGR, their best bet is to try and make something happen bot side, but we've seen every bot lane attempt at an exchange has either been bound to be a trade, or it just hasn't been possible. I mean, Mags has looked a couple of times, but Harryagi and Leviathan are being really conservative and careful with how they play this lane. They understand their top laner is ahead, and their mission at the moment is basically just do nothing.
Trade.
Yeah, they're just doing top lane things at the moment.
They have a tendency to do that. It looks like a wand cake wants a little bit more. Does go in. Leviathan low on the other side of the map. If I had to bet what happened, I think a hook probably landed. Yeah. But I think Harryagi is very, very content. You know, has that ability up and that ultimate ability, rather, up, and it's just going to be content to do whatever. Oh, that's going to be an all-out, and that is going to be a dead Hazem. Really, really well done from a wand cake. That was pretty much a max.
Exodia sees him.
All-out to go over the wall. Exodia wants Hyper Dragon. Hyper Dragon flashes over.
The heal's enough, I think.
Going to use the Shadow Step to try and get away. Cannot do so. Secures the Dragon, though.
Yeah, and it's a 2 for 1 on the bot side as well. I mean, you can see Bobby went down, but ultimately it is Harryagi and Leviathan being traded in tow. So a good amount of kills find their way into the pockets of SGR, though the gold is also still in their favor, curiously enough. I mean, TTM, we're seeing all these solo kills in top, and somehow they're actually down 500 gold.
Well, it's just really good map play, and we're going to see an immediate flash out here from Karma Warrior. Mags took advantage of the fact that they had spotted Hyper Dragon on, well, the dragon, and immediately goes in here.
Yeah, let me see. So Judge Line hits, and
it looks like it may have just happened on its own. Yeah, it's going to be the Death Charge going out in order to ensure it. Killer Instinct comes out, and Harryagi looks like does manage to snipe down that kill onto Bobby. And as Hyper Dragon is getting killed, that bot exchange is happening. Really good timing from the side of Mags to make sure that that trade goes in favor of your guy.
And honestly, this is something SGR desperately needed, right? We talked about the importance of making something happen, but your top lane, it's suffering right now. You know, Hasm is down a significant amount of gold compared to this Cassante. In fact, he might actually be found again here. You needed to make something happen, bot, and you finally pulled the trigger. Megs now with 2 kills, Exodia rocking 1 himself. I think the only thing really left to do here for SGR on the bot side is to get some kind of gold into Bobby, because we're anticipating this Yunara to heavily outscale this Kai'Sa unless they can get something going for him.
Well, Hyper Dragon's in the area, and I think this is going to be a full-on dive if Hazem doesn't get out of there. Does put down the ward, and so feels confident enough to step back up, but Shadow Step doesn't have the longest cooldown in the world. Not that Hyper Dragon stuck around.
Yeah, Hyper Dragon's just going to go back to his camp, which I think is probably wiser. You want to make sure that you are, you know, covering for some other lanes, as Mags is maybe a little too far. I don't think the way pushing, I think if you
dodge the vision, and the dredge line is going to connect, so that is going to be a very dead Harryauge as the barrier goes out, the flash and heal, and alive is the Yunara, but everything was expended for it.
I mean, Harryauge is going to be forced to leave the lane, so maybe some tower damage is possible here from SGR. I don't know if, you know, without the grubs, they're actually going to be able to threaten taking this one. It would be huge if they could, but still, huge missed opportunity there for SGR to get what looked like a free kill.
Well, it did look like a free kill, but it all had an asterisk on it, right? I don't know if they would have been able to sidestep the Vi sitting in that tri-bush, but the bottom line was they had vision there. They would have known. They didn't know where Vi was until the fight already engaged, and, you know, they get away, but they give up everything but the kill gold, right? So a regank is definitely something that I think if you're Mags, you're going to look at.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with that ultimate being on a somewhat low cooldown at this point. I feel like the biggest friend to Vi is getting that ability haste. And now that he has some items under his belt, he is slowly starting to have that Q be on a somewhat short cooldown. This allows him to just continue having that pressure in the game. As TP here from Awan Cake as Hyper Dragon is back.
Yeah, Hyper Dragon's here, and it's going to be the flash immediately, but that is a Rost, and so even if something were to happen, there's an Umbral Trespass just waiting to kill that Jax off, and it is going to be the kill gifted over to Hyper Dragon here. He's 1-0, he's got, or sorry, 1-1-0 as Dredgeline hits, but not too much damage. This could be dangerous in a return fire situation.
Yeah, but it's not going to amount to anything at the end of the day. I mean, Awan Cake as well, getting that tower does mean that this Cassante is officially freed up. There's a Dragon coming up at about 45. If Awan Cake wants to, he could just join up with the rest of his squad, give them numbers advantages. You can see Hasm is headed toward the top side as well without teleports. So SGR will be in a 4v5 situation, down resources compared to this raid boss Cassante, and almost certainly with all of that in mind, forced to give up the Dragon unless something changes.
Here. It is going to be this Yunara pushing forward, doing so much damage, forcing the flash and the ignite. Mags is here. They know that this Yunara is flashless, but the dash will get her away.
Now, I mean, both Bobby and Marcotte really low, so they're going to be forced to reset, give up priority on the bot side, and everything is pointing to this Dragon just belonging to TTM at this point.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the recall's coming through, the tempo just isn't there. They will have the vision to see that it's happening, so maybe they could look at a Herald, but this Dragon is absolutely going to be going to the moon if they so desire it to.
Yeah, it definitely is. TTM going to secure that one. I like that they actually are putting Karma Warrior on a side lane now. We haven't checked in with the Victor in a really long time, but like we've said so many times, this is a champion that, you know, needs resources, needs items to be relevant, and so I think putting him in a 1v1 situation with Hasm, who is extremely far behind still in this game, just allows him to accrue those resources, be ready for the next Dragon, which will be Soul Point. That is a huge fight for TTM and possibly a good rebound point for SGR to try and get back into this game. They should be able to hit, you know, 1 to 2 item breakpoints by the time that spawns in about 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, I said maybe they could get the Herald, but it's actually going to be TTM that takes it. The Chaos Storm, or the Arcane Storm,
Hyper
going
Dragon's
down
just dead.
onto Hasm, and Hyper Dragon does just die. Now, the Yunara's not in the area.
They got Yunara.
Oh, no, they got her.
Yeah.
That's a big couple of kills. I mean, you take the Herald, but that fight was absolutely worth it for the side of Stasis Gaming. That was sort of the revitalization they needed.
Oh yeah, Marcotte curved that dredge line to be able to pick up that kill. Now they don't even need the Herald. Screw getting that objective. They are going to take themselves a mid tower for their successes. And yeah, big fight win here for SGR. Basically the first of the game as we are going to get a small little replay. I'm curious how they bursted down Hyper Dragon. I was thinking Hyper Dragon would probably just try and get the ult onto Mags, but then he gets dredge lined. He gets knocked up, and the burst is just too much.
Just killed by the Kaisa.
Yeah, so, I mean, they take down the Kayn without him being able to flash or ult away, and then, I mean, you know, we talk about the craziness of the Nautilus hitbox queue sometimes. I think that might be one such case.
You know, you might be right, and it is just quite the ability given all the different hitboxes it has, but, you know, sometimes it works out in your favor, and a lot of the time, if you're the Nautilus, you just hit it.
We just accept it at this point, right? It's a part of the League of Legends culture that Nautilus's queue is just dumb.
All right. Exodia does sense the pressure, is going to back out here. I sort of thought this might be what they wanted to do, although I'm curious as to why they're giving the tower so much attention in the top lane. It's going to be an all-out popped, but also a flash. We're going to see Hazem step away just fine. A lot to dedicate to attempt that solo kill there. Mags could go in if he wanted to, but clearly he does not.
I do think that it is wise for him to, you know, not burn too much time, especially with something, you know, possibly a Bruin on the bot side, SGR, maybe looking for some type of an engage angle. I do think, though, that SGR have to be very mindful of who is around when they pull the trigger. Notably, Exodia, unlike the Kaisa and unlike the Nautilus, doesn't have mobility and the ability to actually, you know, get into a fight right out of the gate. So you have to make sure the Hui is in the area when you start the fight so you have that numbers advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of numbers advantage, that is a big numbers advantage for the side of Stasis here. And K'Sante, we called him a raid boss. I don't think he's living this one.
Nope.
That's a huge shutdown to go to Kaisa as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Bobby needing a little bit more gold when he was 0-1, and so far he's picked up 3 more kills, a big shutdown to go along with that as well. Should also be able to catch this mid wave being pushed in here by To The Moon. So a lot of resources going over to the Kaisa, like you said, much needed for the security of this late game for SGR. As now pings are coming through onto Exodia. He's just going to be forced to go for that wave and immediately back out. Doesn't want to burn that flash before this dragon comes up in about a minute's time.
Yeah, it's a good call to get him out of there. And you saw the whole team was moving over to escort Exodia off to safety. There was a little bit of sniffing around, but I don't know that it ever would have been a full dedication if they saw even one more person. Karma Warrior pushes out the top wave, and you know, we're in a bit of a lull state here. Dragon coming up soon means that these teams don't really want to give up anything prior to that. We might see a couple more recalls, but unless there's a really great pick angle, I think we're just going to wait until that dragon spawns.
Yeah, and we're really going to be holding our breath for which team wins this fight. I mean, looking kind of at the summoner spells at the moment, Awan Cake, without that flash, everyone else does seem to have that summoner spell as well as their ultimates available. So realistically, we have every resource we could possibly
It's Otacon. It's been started up.
Wait, yeah, they're just starting it up
they don't
right
know.
Out of the gate. They don't know.
Well, they know now, but
it's too late.
Not that it's they don't even know that Otacon is happening. They just have a suspicion because top and support don't move like that together. Is it the steal? It is! And that's going to be stolen by Mags, and immediately they go out, but it's so much damage from this Hui. The fight immediately looks disastrous. Hariyagi doing what he can, but it is a dead Awan Cake, and the killer instinct will kill the Rakan off. Down goes Leviathan, and now Mags is looking for more. Over the wall, flash, cease, desist, and Hariyagi goes down.
And Vi stands for victory as Mags, like a boss, walks in to the Otacon, steals it. Exodia drops a massive ultimate, and SGR take over the fight, take over the game, and it feels like it is open sesame for them to take all of the standing gold that they have waited 21.5 minutes to claim.
This was a massive fight as we look back at it. I
Hang
thought
on.
maybe that was a little bit...
Can we slow it down? I want to see this. Okay.
I mean, it was about as close as it gets. I don't understand clearing the control ward there. It didn't give enough vision.
15.
Mags with a
14,
prayer here.
12:47.
It's as close as it gets.
12:47. And then look at that ultimate from Exodia. All of the backline is low HP. They have to run for the hills. Hariyagi, I feel, doesn't even know what hit him at that point. I'm joined with him because he gets immediately dredgelined, has to find a way out. A1 Cake goes down, and then Bobby goes in. They don't kill everybody, but they do get enough to really, I think, put themselves in firm control of this game. And honestly, I don't talk a lot about this a lot on broadcasts here, but that is a mental shattering play factor. Like, if I'm getting, if I'm the jungler and I am getting my Otacon stolen right in front of my eyes, and then all my teammates die, I'm very sad.
With the season on the line as well, To the Moon has just barely missed the mark in this moment, and now bounties across the board for Stasis Gaming, and they've been knocking at the door for a while here. All they really needed was one fight, and that fight was even better than what they needed. They are in full control.
Yeah, they really are. And now TTM are forced to give up so much gold because they realize how far behind they have become. They give up the topside tier 1. Dragon going to be up in a little less than 3 minutes as well. And TTM, this would be sole point for them, so it might reactivate a win condition for them in this game. But if they aren't able to claim this, SGR are just going to be able to scale on up, and it does feel really rough for them, as even Hasm now is on equal footing with A1 Cake. I mean, the man is equal levels, and he's just BMing right in the face of this Cassante, by the way. That is just disrespectful, Hasm.
I don't know if he should be as disrespectful as he is being. Cassante still has all out here, but doesn't get over the wall, so is forced to flash. I mean, I feel like Hasm kind of got the direst treatment this game, albeit it was a lot of solo kills more than Hyper Dragon showing up, but it definitely worked. Yeah. The bot lane focus was fantastic from Stasis Gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Stasis, we said it so many times, with your top laner crumbling, suffering, you know, crying in the corner, you got to make something happen on the bot side. And it didn't happen immediately, but they found their moment. They found their angle. Now Bobby is really relevant in this game, a lot stronger than this Yunara. Yeah, I mean, the man is just extremely powerful on the map. And I love how he's playing this game, as Exodia does have to be a little bit careful. Yeah, Kai'Sa's just not afraid to kill her instinct forward. And I feel like that is kind of the point in the game where you don't have to, as an AD carry, fear getting one shot, that the enemy team just has to be really worried.
Well, it's also just such a smart use of that killer instinct. You count the CCs, you wait for those abilities to go into someone else, and then you're in the middle of their team, and what can they do?
I think he's waiting for a moment to just flash over and surprise the Yunara. Even if he burns the flash from Augie, I feel like that is worth it to go 1 for 1 on the objective ahead of this dragon, which is coming up in a little less than a minute. You can see that both teams are getting their resets in before redeploying onto the bot side. And kind of looking at the items so far here, I think Exodia should get his 3rd item. Mags is getting close, but I don't think he will hit his. Again, we just have to be keeping our eyes on this Kai'Sa at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah, recall's coming out and all of that. I think that you're right that a flash-for-flash trade supports for AD carries is always worth it, especially with a champion that's inherently as slippery as Yunara. Obviously doesn't end up happening, and A1 Cake just doing A1 Cake things, but this time has a team to back him up, so he's feeling safe and sound as in comes Mags. Good buffer on that, and that's going to be an immediate 2-man Pathmaker into the redemption pop from the side of Marcotte. It's going to be a full-on team fight as the all-out is popped, and you know, abilities used left and right. We saw 3 ultimates come out from the side of To The Moon in comparison to the 1 ultimate used by just Hasm for Stasis Gaming. So this is a fight that could be a bit rough to take. You really need the setup to look good, and the longer you stand and wait, the more poke Kaisa gets to throw your way.
Exactly, and Hasm, who is taken really low, will be able to TP back to the fight. Mags, crucially, doesn't have flash, so this Vi has to be really careful with pulling the trigger. We saw this happen in game number 1, where he would go in, but he would die in response. He has to stay alive, though, for this fight. It's just a question of who pulls the trigger. Everyone's got their guns out and ready to unload.
My eyes are on Hyper Dragon right now. If he can find the backline, it might signal an engage, but instead it's Leviathan getting found. It's going to be the cease and desist going in, but it's Leviathan over the wall, and it's going to be every single member going in. The killer instinct was perfection. The depth charge secures it all, and the spiraling despair will signal the despair of To The Moon. The dragon goes to Stasis, and this game is looking rough.
It absolutely is, and you know the saying at this point, Factor, shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll be with the stars, and it seems like they're seeing stars as Stasis Gaming are running away with game number 2. Look at the snap engage here on Mags, finds Leviathan, basically puts the Rakan at 1 HP, so he has to exfiltrate the fight. He can't provide cover fire for Augie. He can't provide cover fire for Hyper Dragon. These carries are left out to dry, and the fight just feels doomed right from the get-go. Hyper Dragon is the last to fall. The dragon is secured, and if we go back to live, I feel like we'll see that they're wearing purple.
Oh, they most certainly are, walking out of base strutting. You get items all over the place from a fight into a Baron take. And 3 down mid, I think that signals their confidence. They are looking to seal this game away, and rightfully so. That fight geometry was gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that soul win condition that we talked about, it's just not there anymore. You are going to have to wait 10 more minutes before soul becomes a relevant piece to the puzzle. And even then, it might not save you. You're 8,000 gold down. Baron is acquired, and all of SGR, they're gravitating toward this bot side to continue their siege.
Yeah, they are playing this macro really, really, really flawlessly. We see Mags picks up the GA, has pretty much impunity to jump in on anyone, and goes for the cease and desist onto Harryaugi immediately. It's going to be the Spiraling Despair onto Leviathan, but meanwhile, on the backside of this fight, Redemption goes down for Exodia and is going to hit the Fear as well. The all-out doing a lot of damage, but it's not enough. That's a double kill for Bobby. It's a jump in for Hasm, and this Jax, who was left out to dry, is going to take this fight over. A triple kill for Bobby now. Hasm once more, cannot get anything. Has to back away, but it is going to be 2 turrets. It is going to be 3 kills, and they only trade Mags.
Right, Mags is down. I mean, Inhibitor is down as well. Dredge line there for Marcotte barely misses its mark. And the wave just not big enough to continue the siege. I think the death timers as well, maybe a little bit too low, so they're not going to chance it. SGR are just going to channel their recalls and live to fight another day. No objective up for at least another 2.5 minutes, essentially. Does mean that TTM can focus on clearing these waves, getting gold, and preparing for possibly a soul point fight if they want to take it, though. With every minute that passes, it feels like the prospect of winning a fight against SGR gets more and more unlikely. I feel like this is the closest they've got in the last 5 minutes. They split up SGR and basically made it so Mags was isolated. Hasm as well wasn't really able to do anything. A1 Cake kind of divided Stasis. That was the best they could have managed for, but then immediately it gets turned back onto a re-engage comes through from Hasm, and more kills get found. So even when you somewhat stalemate a fight, you still lose a lot in return. That Inhibitor going down does mean prio guaranteed for SGR ahead of a dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did exactly what I expected them to do. They're going to rotate up to top. Now they're going to go top to mid, take the tower there. They're going to go for another engage as the dredge line hits, and Spiraling Despair goes out. It's a kill onto Hyper Dragon. It's a jumping forward leap strike onto Harryauge, who has to fight for his life here. And Max is going to miss the flash. A little bit of happy gaming here, and Leap Strike comes out again, and it's so much damage.
All right, what are we doing, guys? Come on.
Has him forced into the stasis. It's going to be an immediate shutdown onto this Jax by Yunara, and it's going to be even more as a second shutdown is going to go the way of Harryauge. They're going to push Stasis Gaming off here, but Exodia does a lot of damage, and Leviathan doesn't have the lockdown at the moment. It's going to have to be Karma Warrior with some long-range poke to lock that kill down, and he cannot do it just quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like SGR maybe a little too happy in that exchange. They do give up some kills and some gold over to TTM, but it doesn't feel like there's any harm, any foul. You get a second inhibitor. The waves are still pushing. You still have control over the map, so I think you can just focus on taking this dragon, getting that soul point. Not that it is the main win con at the current moment, but it does help in putting a timer on TTM to respect.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the shield bow pickup for Harryauge here. I think it is necessary. Hyper Dragon's starting the dragon up, so it looks like that mental block we were talking about, not found here. Does have to pull off as sort of the half engage goes in from Hazem, and now it's going to be the objective bounty secured, and the fight is going to start immediately. Karma Warrior in a lot of trouble on one side. On the other side, it's Hyper Dragon versus the world, and a Wand Cake takes the Vi over the wall and kills immediately. Hyper Dragon in a Wand Cake. They've got to make something happen if they want this fight to look favorable. They've got the damage. Can they get it done? Exodia is untouched. Bobby is running and kiting. It's going to be a kill onto Hyper Dragon for Bobby. It's going to be a Wand Cake looking to make something happen, but he's not all out anymore. It's just a tank, and down goes the Cassante. Down goes the Nexus turrets. Stasis Gaming will be the last team to lock playoffs.
Playoffs around the corner. Stasis Gaming sprint toward the other teams locked in, and they will join them in the bout to see who will be crowned the Immortal League champions. Here, Factor, as a clean 2-0 really gets people anticipating the kind of performances we'll be seeing from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely. They looked incredibly impressive from a macro standpoint, always getting gold where they could find it, always having a counterpunch at the ready, and always in those fights positioning and setting up in a way that was really, really nice to see. You know, a little bit of happy gaming, but they're allowed it because they immediately turn around and just show why they are going to be here.
Absolutely. This is a team we covered earlier in the regular season, and now we get a little bit of an update, and it seems like nothing's changed. That makes me really excited to see them in the playoffs, but unfortunately for the side of To The Moon, their road ends here. The spaceship did not leave orbit, and unfortunately will not land at its destination. All in all, though, really good stuff from both teams. Really proud of what they were able to accomplish. And yeah, just overall, really excited for the next few weeks of the Immortal League.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think it is just going to be game after game after game where we sit back and we say, man, these teams are just scrapping for it. Because they really are all going to want to be the one that sits at the top by the end.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And honestly, I feel like for the case of Stasis Gaming Resurgence, it's going to be a question of how far can you make it, right? A lot of people have been anticipating that this team, could make it all the way. They could maybe win. And I feel like I am kind of in that camp. So I'm excited to see what they're capable of in the next few weeks. But that is going to be doing it here for us on the stream. Thank you so much Factor for subbing. And thank you to our producers behind the glass for making all of this as seamless as possible. And thank you behind the camera, behind the screen, whatever you want to call it, for watching this week on the Titan Immortal League. I have been Quacks, and we will see you guys all next week when the playoffs kick off and the implications for do or die time become week after week stakes. So we'll see you guys all then. Have a great night, have a great week, and peace out.
You do like do like do crazy, oh crazy, oh crazy, crazy.